boys and girls, my name is Terri Lamberton and today I'm going to read you a story that I have written, so I hope you enjoy it, and it's called Lacey Loos Christmas Adventure. Far away in the North Pole there was an elf called Lacey Loo. Lacey Loo was no ordinary elf, she was an elf that loved adventure. One Christmas, while Santa was loading his sleigh and checking his list, Lacey Loo thought to herself how wonderful it would be to see the world just like Santa. It was then that she had one of her most perfect ideas. She was going to hide in Santa's magic sleigh. On Christmas Eve, Lacey Loo climbed aboard and hid behind Santa's sack. Santa mushed the reindeer and the two of them took off into the beautiful winter night sky. They flew so high they could see the magical northern lights below them. The beautiful multicolored shimmered and seemed to follow Santa's sleigh for what seemed like eternity. They were mesmerizing. Santa was delivering presents to all the children around the world as Lacey Loo looked on in amazement. She had seen some of the most beautiful wonders of the world. Places such as the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, the Statue of Liberty in New York, USA, and the pyramids in Egypt. Lacey Loo grew very tired from all of the amazing places she had seen in such a short period of time, and before long she fell fast asleep in the back of Santa's sleigh. When Lacey Loo awoke, she was in Ireland, in a place called Derry. It was a beautiful city with lots of lights and a river that flowed right through it. She was ready to explore after her long rest. She discovered a winding bridge where she could see the river underneath her. It was still, almost like a sheet of glass. The city lights reflected off it like stars that twinkled in the night. At the end of the bridge stood a huge castle with a clock. It chimed loudly at midnight. Outside the castle stood one of the biggest Christmas trees she had ever seen. It was covered with beaming lights that lit up the whole square. Next, she discovered a small staircase that led to a wall. The wall seemed to wind around the whole city. As she walked along this never-ending wall, she could see how peaceful and quaint the city appeared in the quietness of the night. Lacey Loo's tiny little elf legs grew tired and her tummy began to rumble. Lacey Loo saw a sign reading, "Santa, please stop here." It was then that she had her second clever idea. She knew that the boys and girls had left treats out for Santa, so she decided to rest herself in this cosy little house, and maybe Santa would have left some of the treats behind. Luckily, Lacey Loo had brought some of her magic elf dust, so she sprinkled some over her head and magically appeared inside right in front of a glowing fireplace, with filled stockings hanging from it. The smell of mixed spice and oranges filled the air and gave her a warm feeling inside. She could see that Santa had been there and thankfully did not eat and drink all of the cookies and milk left for him. Lacey Loo snuggled up in front of a glowing fire and had a little Christmas feast. When she finished, she could hear the huge clock chime once more and realised it was getting late. Lacey Loo had just enough magic elf dust to magic her way back to Santa's sleigh. Santa's sack was almost empty, so she knew that it was time to return to the North Pole. She nestled down in what had been her hiding place for the last 12 hours. As Santa returned and mushed the reindeer once more, Lacey Loo and Santa returned to the night skies. She could see the sky becoming brighter. It now had tinges of yellow and red, and she could see the sun rising. Lacey Loo thought back to her amazing adventure and all of the beautiful and fascinating things she had seen. They had now reached the North Pole, and as Santa landed his sleigh outside his workshop, Lacey Lou hopped off unnoticed, just as she did when she boarded Santa's sleigh. She ran as quickly as her little elf legs could carry her, still enthused and full of memories, back to her little elf room. She could not wait to climb into her cosy bed and dream of her wonderful adventure. However, before drifting off, she had just one thought in her head. Where would her next adventure take place? The end. I hope you enjoyed that wee story, boys and girls. And we also have another story coming out this winter called Lacey Lou and the Lost Penguin. And maybe in the meantime you could all think of where Lacey Lou's next adventure could be. Thank you. Bye.